Welcome back to the channel. Today, we are ripping the covers off the single most destructive, confusing, and shameful secret that the narcissist hides behind their mask of charm, their uncontrollable, predatory sexual addiction. You are watching this because you have felt the sting of betrayal. You found the hidden apps, the secret messages, the late-night absences. You have asked yourself the agonizing question, was I not enough? Was I not attractive enough? Why did they need so many others? I am here to tell you that your inadequacy is a lie they planted in your head. The truth is darker, colder, and far more mechanical than you could ever imagine. We are going to expose why the narcissist is not a lover, but a slave to a biological impulse they cannot control. We are conditioned to believe that infidelity is a result of a failing relationship or a lack of love. In the world of narcissism, this is false. The narcissist's sexual behavior has absolutely nothing to do with you, your body, or your performance. It has everything to do with a gaping, screaming void inside them that they are desperately trying to fill with bodies. Sexual addiction in narcissism is not about libido, it is about regulation. They use sex the way an alcoholic uses vodka, to numb the pain of their own existence, to silence the inner critic, and to hallucinate a version of themselves that is powerful and desirable. The haunting question that keeps you awake is this: how could they look me in the eye, say they love me, and then betray me with strangers? The answer lies in the nature of the addiction. To a narcissist, sex is not an act of intimacy, it is a transaction of supply. When they are engaging with you, they are extracting supply. When they are engaging with a stranger, they are extracting supply. They do not see the difference because they do not see people, they see objects. They are hoarders of human attention, and their sexual addiction is simply the manifestation of their insatiable greed. You likely noticed the signs early on, but you dismissed them as passion. The intensity, the hypersexuality, the constant need for validation through touch. It felt like they were obsessed with you. But that wasn't obsession with you, it was the frantic energy of an addict getting their fix. They love-bombed you physically to hook you, to turn you into a reliable dispenser of the dopamine they crave. But just like a drug addict builds a tolerance, the narcissist built a tolerance to you. The addiction demanded a new high, a new conquest, a new source of validation to keep the withdrawal symptoms at bay. This addiction is fueled by the chase. The narcissist gets a dopamine spike not from the act itself, but from the pursuit. The moment they secure a new target, the dopamine drops. This creates a perpetual cycle of hunting. They are sharks that must keep moving to breathe. If they stop, they have to sit with their own thoughts, and for a narcissist, introspection is death. They use sexual conquest as a distraction from the deep-seated shame and emptiness that defines their core self. They are running from their own shadow, and they are using the bodies of others as stepping stones. The narcissist's sexual addiction is often tied to somatic narcissism. Even if they are cerebral, they use their body as a weapon. They derive their worth from their ability to seduce. If they are not being desired by multiple people, they feel worthless. This is why they flirt with the waitstaff, keep their exes on the hook, and maintain a harem of orbiters. They need a constant stream of external validation to prop up their fragile ego. One person cannot provide enough fuel for a machine that burns through it this quickly. You must understand that this behavior is compulsive. They cannot stop. It is not a choice in the way you understand choice. When the urge hits, triggered by stress, boredom, or a bruise to their ego, they go into a trance state. They will risk their marriage, their career, and their reputation for a cheap thrill. It is pathological risk-taking. They feel invincible, believing they are smarter than everyone else and will never get caught. This arrogance is the hallmark of the addict who believes they can control the substance, right up until the moment it destroys them. The secret life they build is elaborate and terrifying. They have burner phones, secret emails, dating profiles you've never seen. They compartmentalize their life with the precision of a spy. You are living in one room of their house, believing it is the whole world, while they are running a brothel in the basement. Discovering this double life causes betrayal trauma, so severe it mimics PTSD. You realize you were sleeping next to a stranger who viewed your trust not as a gift, but as a blind spot to be exploited. Why do they hide it if they feel entitled to it? Because they need your facade. They need the stability you provide. You are the public face of their normalcy. You make them look like a good spouse, a good parent, a solid citizen. If they lost you, they would lose their cover. They want to eat their cake and have it too. They want the thrill of the addiction and the safety of the sanctuary you built. It is the ultimate act of selfishness, using you as a shield while they stab you in the back. Today, we are going to dissect the anatomy of this addiction. We are going to look at the biology, the psychology, and the dark spirituality of their need to consume. We are going to reveal why they can never be faithful, why therapy rarely works for them, and why your love was never going to be enough to cure a sickness that is woven into their DNA. To understand the narcissist's lack of control, we must look at their brain chemistry. Studies suggest that narcissists have structural abnormalities in the areas of the brain associated with empathy and reward processing. They are dopamine deficient. They do not feel pleasure in the subtle, quiet moments of life like you do. A sunset, a hug, a conversation, these things do not register. They need high-intensity stimuli to feel anything at all. Sexual conquest provides a massive, sharp spike of dopamine. They are biologically chasing a high that normal life cannot provide. The sexual addiction serves as a painkiller. Deep down, the narcissist carries a heavy load of toxic shame. They feel inadequate, defective, and small. This shame is unbearable. Sexual conquest acts as a temporary anesthetic. When someone desires them, for that brief moment, the shame is silenced. They feel like a god. They feel powerful. But because the fix is external, it wears off rapidly. The shame returns, louder than before, demanding another hit. They are trapped in a biological loop of shame and acting out. We must discuss objectification as a coping mechanism. To the narcissist, people are not human beings with souls, they are masturbatory aids. They strip you of your humanity to use you. This is why they can be so cold and detached immediately after the act. Once the biological urge is satisfied, the object is no longer needed. They discard the person like a used tissue. This dehumanization allows them to cheat without guilt. You cannot feel guilty about using an appliance, and that is what you are to them in the throes of their addiction. The narcissist's sexuality is often performative. They are not experiencing intimacy, they are watching themselves perform a scene. They are obsessed with their own image during the act. They check themselves in the mirror, they focus on their own pleasure or their own prowess. The partner is merely a prop to facilitate this performance. This dissociation prevents any real connection. They are alone in the room with their ego, using your body to masturbate their own vanity. Risk acts as an aphrodisiac. The danger of getting caught adds to the high. It triggers adrenaline, which mixes with the dopamine to create a potent speedball effect. Doing it in your bed, or while you are in the next room, or with your friend, these transgressions make them feel superior. I am fooling everyone. I am smarter than them. This duper's delight is a core component of the addiction. The betrayal itself is part of what gets them off. They suffer from emotional anorexia and sexual bulimia. They starve themselves of real emotional nourishment because they are terrified of vulnerability. To compensate, they binge on sexual encounters. But just like bulimia, they cannot digest the nourishment. They purge the experience, discard the partner, and remain empty. They are consuming vast amounts of bodies but receiving zero nutrition for their soul. They remain spiritually starving while gorging themselves on flesh. The narcissist uses sex to regulate anxiety. When they feel out of control in their career or finances, they ramp up their sexual acting out. It gives them a false sense of agency. I can't control my boss, but I can control this new person. It is a displacement activity. They are trying to solve an internal crisis with an external conquest. This is why you often see them cheating during major life events, weddings, births, funerals. The stress triggers the addiction. Novelty is their only god. The narcissist's brain stops responding to familiar stimuli very quickly. This is known as the Coolidge effect. No matter how beautiful, intelligent, or skilled you are, you become familiar. To a narcissist, familiar equals invisible. They crave the new supply because the newness itself is the drug. They are addicted to the spark of the first touch, the first look, the first validation. They are chasing a beginning that never has an ending. They project their own hypersexuality onto you. They accuse you of cheating. They interrogate you about your whereabouts. This is confession by projection. They assume that because they cannot control their impulses, you cannot control yours either. They live in a paranoid world where everyone is a predator because they are a predator. Their jealousy is not love, it is the thief's fear of being robbed. Ultimately, the addiction is a defense against death. The narcissist is terrified of aging and mortality. Sexual vitality is their proof of life. As long as they can attract a partner, they feel immortal. They use younger partners to siphon off youth and vitality. They are vampires trying to outrun the grave by drinking the life force of others. The addiction is a frantic, pathetic attempt to deny the reality of their own decay. The dramatic turning point arrives when the compulsion overrides caution. In the beginning, they were careful. But addiction is progressive. They start taking bigger risks. They get sloppy. You find a receipt, a text that wasn't deleted, a strange smell on their clothes. The narcissist, in their arrogance, believes they are untouchable. But the addiction makes them reckless. They start acting out in ways that are impossible to ignore. The house of cards begins to wobble in the wind of their own hubris. You confront them, and you witness their narcissistic rage. A normal person caught cheating might show remorse. A narcissist shows fury. How dare you snoop? How dare you question them? They attack you for finding out. This is DAVO, deny, attack, and reverse victim and offender. They flip the script instantly. I wouldn't have to do this if you were more affectionate. They blame you for their addiction. They weaponize your pain against you. You begin to see the coldness in their eyes. The mask of the loving partner dissolves, revealing the addict. They look at you with contempt. You are an obstacle to their fix. You are the warden trying to keep them from their drug. They stop hiding their disdain. They might gaslight you, telling you that you are crazy, paranoid, and insecure, even as the evidence stares you in the face. They are fighting for their right to use. The triangulation becomes overt. Instead of hiding the other women or men, they start to rub them in your face. They talk about how hot someone else is. They compare you to them. They do this to break your self-esteem so you won't leave. They want you to feel lucky they are still with you. They are trying to normalize their harem. Monogamy is unnatural, they might say, trying to intellectualize their lack of impulse control. They may engage in coercive control in the bedroom. Their need for stimulation escalates to darker, more degrading acts. They pressure you into things you aren't comfortable with. If you refuse, they use it as an excuse to cheat. You won't give me what I need. They use your boundaries as a justification for their betrayal. They are trying to force you to become part of their sickness. You realize the scope of the lies. It wasn't just a one-time mistake. It was a lifestyle. You discover that the business trips were sex trips. The late nights at the office were meetups. The entire reality of your relationship was a fabrication. This reality break is the most painful part. You realize you were in love with a character played by an actor who was sleeping with the audience during the intermission. The narcissist begins to devalue you rapidly. Since you know the truth, you are no longer a source of pure admiration. You are a source of judgment. They hate being judged. They start to treat you like an enemy. They withdraw all affection. They punish you for their crime. You are living with a monster who hates you for seeing their true face. They might experience a collapse of their own. If the exposure is public, if they lose their job or reputation, they spiral. But they don't spiral into repentance, they spiral into victimhood. Everyone is out to get me. They play the martyr. They cry fake tears to manipulate you into staying. They promise to go to therapy, to change, to get help for their sex addiction. Be warned, the sex addiction label is often used as a get-out-of-jail-free card. They use it to gain sympathy. It's a disease, I can't help it. While the compulsion is real, the lack of empathy is the root cause. They use the diagnosis to avoid accountability. They want you to nurse them back to health so they can go out and do it again. They are weaponizing the language of recovery. The turning point ends with a choice. You realize that you cannot love the addiction out of them. You cannot be sexy enough, good enough, or patient enough to fill the void. You are pouring water into a bucket with no bottom. The realization hits you. You are not fighting for a relationship. You are fighting for your sanity against a biological machine that is programmed to destroy. As the addiction consumes them, the narcissist enters a state of spiritual bankruptcy. They look tired. Their skin looks gray. The constant stress of living a double life ages them. They are exhausted. The high isn't hitting like it used to. They need more extreme stimuli to feel anything. They are chasing a dragon that is flying further and further away. They are miserable, anxious, and hollow. They start to experience social consequences. Friends pull away. Colleagues whisper. The reputation they carefully curated is stained. They feel the loss of control acutely. For a narcissist, reputation is everything. Losing it is a psychic death. They become paranoid, lashing out at anyone they perceive as a threat. They are a wounded animal, dangerous and unpredictable. The new supply inevitably disappoints them. The strangers they cheated with become boring the moment the conquest is over. They are left with a string of shallow, meaningless connections. They have no one to call when they are sick. No one to trust. They have traded a diamond for a pocketful of gravel. The loneliness of the addict sets in, a cold, isolating prison of their own making. They may spiral into other addictions. Sex addiction rarely travels alone. Alcohol, drugs, gambling. They often cross-addict to manage the anxiety of their collapsing life. They are trying to plug the holes in the Titanic with chewing gum. They are decomposing in real time. The superhuman facade crumbles, revealing a pathetic, trembling child. They feel narcissistic mortification. The shame they tried to outrun catches up. It crushes them. But instead of humility, it breeds malice. They hate you for surviving. They hate you for leaving. They want to destroy you because you are the witness to their failure. If they can't have you, they want to make sure no one else can. You, the survivor, grapple with STD anxiety and physical trauma. You have to get tested. You have to face the physical reality of their betrayal. This is the ultimate violation. They risked your life for a 5-minute thrill. This realization kills any lingering love. It replaces it with a cold, hard resolve. You realize they were willing to kill you, figuratively and literally, to feed their ego. The narcissist attempts hysterical hoovering. They know they are losing their primary supply, you. They panic. They propose marriage, offer expensive gifts, scream about how much they love you. It is a performance. It is the addict promising to never drink again while holding a bottle behind their back. It is pathetic. You look at them and you don't see a lover, you see a clown. They begin to project their self-loathing. They tell you that you are unlovable, that no one else will want you. This is their inner voice talking to them. They are terrified that they are unlovable. They are trying to hand you their baggage so they don't have to carry it. Do not accept the delivery. The addiction strips them of their humanity. They become robotic. They move from person to person with dead eyes. They have lost the ability to connect on even a basic level. They are ghosts haunting the dating apps, looking for a pulse to steal. They are the living dead. Ultimately, the collapse reveals the truth. They are not powerful. They are slaves. They are slaves to a chemical impulse they cannot control. They are weak. You, who stood by them, who loved them, who tried to help them, you are the strong one. And now, you are using that strength to walk away. We arrive at the final truth. You were never the problem. You could have been the most perfect, beautiful, sexual being on earth, and they still would have cheated. You cannot fill a black hole. Their addiction is a structural defect in their soul. It is not a reflection of your worth. It is a reflection of their emptiness. Stop asking, why wasn't I enough? And start asking, why was I settling for a person who is empty? You must redefine intimacy. What the narcissist offered was not intimacy, it was intensity. Intensity is cheap. Intensity is easy. Real intimacy is safety. Real intimacy is loyalty. Real intimacy is knowing that your partner protects your body and your heart even when you aren't in the room. The narcissist is incapable of this. You were starving for bread, and they fed you stones. Understand that their desire is not a compliment. Being desired by a narcissist is like being desired by a parasite. They don't want you, they want to feed on you. They want to consume your light to hide their darkness. Do not be flattered by their obsession. Be repulsed. Be terrified. And be gone. You need to detox from the drama. You have been addicted to the highs and lows. Peace will feel boring at first. That is normal. That is your nervous system healing. Learn to sit in the quiet. Learn to appreciate a partner who is consistent, even if they aren't exciting in the toxic way the narcissist was. Boring is safe. Boring is healthy. Walk away from the performance. You don't have to compete with the ghosts of their exes or the phantom women in their phone. The competition is rigged. The only way to win is to leave the stadium. Let them play their twisted games alone. You have retired from the league of dysfunction. Do not offer closure or friendship. They will use access to you to triangulate their next victim. My ex is still obsessed with me. Don't give them that ammo. Cut them off completely. Become a ghost. Your silence is the only thing they cannot manipulate. Your body belongs to you. It is sacred. It is not a dumping ground for a narcissist's shame. Reclaim your sexuality. Reclaim your confidence. You are whole on your own. You do not need a broken person to validate your existence. The narcissist will continue their cycle. They will find new supply, they will love bomb, they will cheat, and they will destroy. It is a tragedy on a loop. But you? You are off the ride. You are standing on solid ground, watching the carousel spin out of control from a safe distance. Use this pain to build an impenetrable boundary. You now have this secret knowledge. You can spot a predator from a mile away. You know that hypersexuality without intimacy is a red flag, not a green light. You are wiser. You are stronger. You are bulletproof. The narcissist is a slave to their desire, doomed to hunger forever. But you are free. You have the capacity for real love, faithful love, and deep love. Go find it. It's waiting for you on the other side of this nightmare. Class dismissed.